How does the U.S. Coast Guard have an impact or affect your knowledge of electric vehicles? It may not seem like the Coast Guard and electric vehicles have anything to do with each other, but they released a blog post on their official website within the last week that talks about electric vehicle batteries. Now, this has to do with shipping these batteries on cargo boats and shipping containers and how it affects the marine environment. And they have a safety alert that says saltwater intrusion causes damage to these batteries. More importantly, it can cause fires. In fact, in their article, they have a picture right here of a fire that happened because saltwater intruded on an electric vehicle. And it says right here, vessels, ports, and shippers should be aware of this extreme risk and avoid loading EVs with damaged lithium-ion batteries into commercial vehicles. That's the bottom line, right? They don't want you to put damaged lithium-ion batteries that are in EVs onto commercial vehicles or commercial vessels because the boat could burn, right? It's bad enough to have a fire on land, but if you're 50 miles out at sea and your boat catches on fire, right, there's no fire department. Granted, there's water all around you, but unless you have good firefighting, your boat's going to sink. Yeah, the fire's going to go out when your boat sinks. How is that relevant to electric vehicle ownership? Well, if you live in a saltwater environment near the coast, which is where most people live, California, Oregon, Washington, Florida, Texas, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, are all some of the most highly populated states and some of the states with the highest use of EVs, and they're on the coast, right? That's where the salt water is. So what if your EV battery is damaged somehow? You drive over a rock, a speed bump, something damages it. Your battery still might work. Your battery might not show any sign of damage because, quite frankly, how often do you look at your battery? If you got a rock chip on your windshield and it chipped it, you'd see it. If you had a door ding from a shopping cart, you'd see it. If a rock came up underneath and damaged your battery, you don't see it because you don't peek under your car every day, right? So this is an example of where the damage can do more harm than just cosmetic. If the battery's damaged and salt water can intrude either from spray from the road that you're driving and the salt water kicks up into your battery, according to the Coast Guard, it says right here, causes fires. So extreme risk. Avoid damaged batteries. Extreme risk. That's their words. And what if your car's in your garage and the salt water corrodes the leads or short circuits and it catches on fire? Now you're not just losing your car, you're losing your house. And you might say, well, I don't live near the ocean. Maybe you don't. But I guarantee you in the winter, most of the country has snow and ice mitigation where they put salt on the roads. That's still salt water. In fact, that salinity content might be higher than the ocean in some places. So if you live in Maine, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, where you have snow on the road, they put down saltwater intrusion in a battery, right? So this is something to be aware of. Don't know the level of the risk. The Coast Guard's calling it extreme risk. It also has to do with how much damage is on the battery. Something to be aware of. The Coast Guard's warning commercial boats to be aware of it, but it's something that may not be in the mainstream knowledge of consumers or civilians that might be important to know about. Maybe to check your vehicle every once in a while. Check out your battery to make sure that it's up to snuff. Make sure there's no physical damage to it. Make sure that if you feel like you might have scraped it on something, you have it checked out before you put the rest of your property at risk by parking in a garage and burning down your house, allegedly.